Hi, Shelly here. Normally I start out the week with something has inspired me and I've got an idea of something, either a focal point that I want to do or a background or a technique that I want to incorporate. This week I had nothing. So I thought, how am I going to, I've just got to get started. I find that collaging my background is such a great place to start because it's always fun. It's always expiring. It's always inspiring. And it always gets everything going for me. So I thought I'll go through my gel print paper drawer, pick out some papers. I tried to pick out something that I haven't used very often, and so I chose a couple of these papers that have purple on them because I don't use purple very often. So I thought today's the day to do it and use up some of these papers that I've had for a long time that I always seem to pass over. So I've pulled out these the papers with the purple and these butterflies, and we'll see what we can come up with. I've also got these tissue paper that I stamped and stenciled onto that are just a little bit heavier with the black or the dark gray, and I haven't seemed to use them. So I thought I'm going to try to incorporate some of those as well in this page. I start putting my papers down with some Mod Podge, which I always use in my journals because I've got a bunch I need to use up. So I fill up my little pot, add some water to it, and stir it up really good, and then I'm ready to go. I always add water to my Mod Podge because I just like the way it behaves better when I do, and my pages seem to be less sticky afterwards. I like to have a bunch of papers ready to go because I find as I start collaging, my fingers get very gluey and I have a hard time with paper sticking to my fingers. But you always have to do a little tearing right in the middle of it. So I try to cut those times out when I'm off camera trying to tear the pieces off of my fingers. And then I like to grab a couple of baby wipes at the end and go over my whole project with those baby wipes, just gently kissing to make sure my surface is all even and the texture is all the same. And then just about as soon as I finish up, I realize I forgot my butterflies. So I will go back in and add those guys on real quick. I haven't used Crackle paste in a while, so I grab some of that and start scraping it on here and there. And I don't want it to be heavy. I want it to be small crackles, just kind of here and there. I just want it peeking through here and there. I don't want it covering up my papers or being the focal point. I just want it to add to my background. Next, I mix up some paint. I start out with some blue and white and with a little water and start applying it. Again, I want my background papers to show through. And as I start to apply it, it's not what I want. So I will grab a little bit of my dark gray and add that in, and that's much better. I want to make sure I get it down into my crackles, and then I'll use my baby wipes to remove a lot of it. So I've just got that hint and got it down in the cracks. Here's a close-up of my background with the Crackle, and I just love how this looks. Thinking to myself, I need to do this more often. I just really, really love this, especially once I get the paint on it. I think it looks really cool. While my page was drying, I went through a bunch of my drawers, just looking through all my stash to see what I might use for a focal point, and I found these 3 butterflies that I had cut out at some point but not used. And so I got my leftover papers and going to cut out these 3 butterflies. And then I decided, you know what, it'd be easier if I attach them to the paper first and then cut them out. So I grab a piece of wax paper, and then I will Mod Podge them to the backs. And I think that is going to be much easier to manage. Once they're dry, I'll peel them right off and start fussy cutting. This is a long process, so I will skip to the end. Thinking about how I want to put them on my page and if I want to do anything else to them. And I decide to get down my acrylic ink pens and put an edge around each one. This is kind of where I get a little nervous because I really like how everything looks right now without doing another thing to it. And sometimes, I don't know if you have this happen, but sometimes I will do things and wish that I would have stopped and left it alone. And I kind of feel like that with this page. I really liked it at this point. Many times I will be very happy that I continued on because I'll, come up with something else that I really like how it turned out in the end. And then other times I'll wish I would have stopped early on. So you just never know what you're going to get. But as I've mentioned before, that's what keeps making art such a fun, exciting thing, because you're just not sure. It's not the same every time, or at least the way I do it. It's not the same every time. And I don't know, it keeps it exciting and fun. You can always move on to another art journal page. You could rip it out of your book if it was horrible and you hated it. You could paint over it if you don't have too much texture on it. I have never ripped out a page of my journal before because for me, it's just for me anyway. So it's a learning experience, and the ones that I don't like as well, I still like to leave in my journal because I learned something from it. I grabbed my Beacon Fast Grab glue, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue in the centers and put them down where I think I want them. And then once this sets up, then I can fold my wings up. You'll see what I do here at the end. But this will stay because these are coated with Mod Podge. They will stay for years in whatever shape I bend them. Of course, it'll be different in a book where it's closed, but the wings will still have some bend to them. Then I decide to get out my micron pens and go around the edges with some rough lines. I rarely do this, and I've wanted to, so I thought this, I think, is the perfect time to try it out. Now with my glue dry, and that nice hard coating, these are really quite thick. I can go in and bend my wings and they will stay pretty much like, if this was on a canvas, they would stay like that for years on the canvas. It's very cool. Well, that's my page. I went from not having a clue what I wanted to do this week to really enjoying myself and being pleased with how it turned out. I love the crackle, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll join me in my next one. Bye for now.